Trudeau doesn't care, Ford doesn't care, Arif doesn't care, and the government doesn't care.
Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. In today's top story, a new report has come out that abuse against women is up 75% in Canada. And some women came to testify. Michelle Ferrari was there in Parliament. And the Liberals essentially victimized, they shamed, they shunned these women, and they left the room crying. Point of order, the whole nonsense. They ran these women out of the room. It is embarrassing and shocking, so let's get into this. The top story here, we've got Michelle Ferrari bringing forward some pretty troubling stuff that's going on in Canada and the Liberal government. She says here, this post by Pierre Poilievre says victims invited to testify today at Emergency Committee on Violence Against Women. They were silenced by Liberal and NDP MPs today. The witnesses walked out in protest. The Trudeau Liberals and NDP have no shame.
Statistics Canada just came up with a report. 75% increase in sexual assaults in this country. Women and children are not safe. We need to meet at the Status of Women Committee with the experts to come up with a plan on how we can keep these criminals behind bars. After 9 years of Justin Trudeau, catch and release is not working. Our citizens are at risk.
We will shine until there is retribution. We will break the stigmas down into the nothingness that they are. There are no stereotypical victims. There are only stereotypical abusers. IPV and SA happens in all cultures, all socioeconomic statuses, races, ages, genders, but so predominantly with women and children. Today is not about me. Today is about us and what this means going forward. You have granted me the honor of speaking on behalf of all men, women, non-binary, and children, survivors of violence. And I want to state from a survivor's perspective, Trudeau doesn't care, Ford doesn't care, Arif doesn't care, and the government doesn't care. The government doesn't care about Courtney Goudreau, who faced potential charges and jail time for speaking the name of her convicted abuser when a publication ban was implemented without her consent. The government doesn't care about Brian and Suzanne Sweeney, whose daughter Angie was shot to death along with 3 innocent children. Brett and Jessica Broadfoot, whose daughter was stabbed to death 2 weeks ago at age 17, leaving behind her absolutely incredible 15-year-old brother Lucas. The government doesn't care about Melanie Hatton, who fled BC to Ontario after nearly being murdered by her ex-partner. She suffers long-term traumatic brain injury and still lives in fear daily with her 2 children, and now owes $300,000 to the CRA because her ex bankrupted her. The government doesn't care about Tanya Couch, who was sexually assaulted by her former commanding officer and cadets, but the military police failed to investigate it properly. The case was finally reopened, leading to 3 sexual assault charges, ultimately being stayed after the defense used Section 278 of the Criminal Code to subpoena 7 years of Tanya's personal counseling records. The government doesn't care about Alexa Barkley, who has suffered multiple SA throughout her life, with only one of her abusers receiving a mere 6 months of house arrest for child sexual assault. Or Daniela Halmos, whose ex has been arrested 6 times and faces 27 charges but is still allowed to go free, and despite her children not wanting it, is allowed to be around them.
So what's happened here today is Status of Women reconvened for the summer because Stats Canada released even more shocking statistics. We know this. We sit in Status of Women. The rate of domestic violence is at epic proportions. 95 municipalities in Ontario alone have declared this a crisis. The deputy chief here from Peel today testified saying a woman is strangled every single day just in his community.
That's crazy.
We had a woman fly here from California to tell us that on the anniversary of her near-death experience from her abuser, that she doesn't feel safe to use her Canadian passport because her attacker is personally rewarded for being an abuser under our Canadian federal laws. Her mom is standing here right now watching this. Her mom is the witnesses have left in tears.
Point of order.
Megan Walker, who has worked with London
point
Police,
of order,
said,
Michelle.
Go ahead.
Point of order.
Sorry, Madam Chair. Relevance to the motion, please.
That's what's her name? Jenica Atwin or whatever, Liberal.
Yep, thank you. I'm getting there. And, you know, Kate's mom is standing here, and we talked about this. This is the status of women, the impact. Women are the whole heartbeat of society. And this wasn't a game. And the Liberal MP across the way says that we said nobody cares. That was victim testimony. The victim testimony said Trudeau doesn't care, not us. And the NDP colleague from Winnipeg, who has epic proportions of domestic violence, homicides, murders, there was plenty of reference to Indigenous folks. Kate, who was representing here today, represented voices of dozens of victims. So did Megan Walker, who has dedicated her life to empowering women. And so did the deputy police chief. And so what happened? The Liberal MP put forward a motion on abortion in the middle of testimony. Where they were asking for legitimate change. Do you know what this committee is supposed to do? It's supposed to say, listen, what are we doing differently?
Point of order, relevance.
We're talking about your motion. That's what we're talking about, Liberal MP across the way. And nobody here brought up abortion. You did. We brought these women here today and the police chief because we have bills that are sitting in the House of Commons that are actually making things worse. Right now, please, if you don't know this story, this is happening right now. This woman's body could be found at any time. Hopefully she is found alive. But a man charged with kidnapping, a search for Markham woman continues. Right now this is happening. Right now this is happening. And if there's a member in this committee that doesn't think this is happening, and to my colleague from Winnipeg, 100%. But what is collegiality? What is compassion if you are not using this damn committee to change the legislation to save lives?
Point of order.
Yeah, a point of order. The Liberals and NDP are just pathetic. And the Liberals wonder why more women are voting Conservative. I don't know, maybe because they don't want to be made fun of or flag ignored or suffering trauma, my God. Liberals don't care about women. They don't even know what a woman is. Liberals can't define a woman. They put dudes dressed like women into women's shelters and prisons. Truly shameful and truly disgusting. Also truly disingenuous and vile. The victims were victimized again.
Kate, I know you wanted to finish and say a few more things, but what jumped off the page of me, what you said, above all of the horrific things, calling it alleged, and you have all of those photos of your assault, publicly and personally rewarded for it. Those are your words of your attacker. Can you expand on what you mean by that legally in Canada?
Abusers don't think in the same way that the average person does, and which is why they are able to commit the offenses that you or I wouldn't commit. Abusers get off on the reward of being allowed to commit these offenses. I have video taken of my ex and his enjoyment of what he did to me, and knowing that the government said, well, this isn't a big deal. And I will quote the Crown Attorney, we don't have time for this. So he is publicly rewarded because he feels like he is above the law. He is personally rewarded because he is 6'3" and 250 pounds. He can push me around no matter if I had a black belt or otherwise. He has a son who is in his care, and this was overlooked. So his rewards are he gets to operate however he chooses to. There are no consequences for his actions, and I guarantee you if he is not stopped, he will be a part of the homicide statistics. He will kill someone. He came damn close to it with me on this day.
The irony of it being on this day, and then your testimony today, and I know you flew a long way to testify here today, and I know your parents are also here, and I think one of the things that we don't address is the impact on families and children as well, and I know Deputy Chief talked about this, and I guess what I'm trying to get at the heart of this in this meeting is what changes do we have to do? And you were poignant in saying you have a Canadian passport, but you don't feel safe in this country. And I guess, you know, we have a letter from the premiers, all premiers across this country asking for bail reform. And, you know, you're saying you don't feel safe. It's a publication ban without consent. And to Deputy Chief's point, you have a blatant disregard. So you can see the connection between Kate's testimony and the Deputy Chief's testimony. So if I could go to the Deputy Chief and say, what needs to be done federally? And to Ms. Walker's point, if the money was being spent the way that it's saying it's being spent, we wouldn't see an increase. We would see a decrease. And yet we have the worst numbers we've ever seen. So if I could get the Deputy Chief on record saying what needs to be done, do you agree with this bail reform letter that the premiers have signed? And how much of this can be reversed in policy federally?
You know, I do agree with the need to create some change. And, you know, the question was very direct. What can be done? And the answer is going to be also very direct and very simple. What we need to begin doing is reprioritize the consideration for victims and survivors in a way that allows them to feel safe in their communities. And at its most basic,
These Liberals and NDP are just the worst of the worst. Re-victimization is a common tactic of narcissistic abusers. This doesn't reflect well on those who treated these women so poorly. Liberals and NDPs who side with them are simply disgusting people. They don't care about us regular folk. They know the media won't make them look bad or report when they do something awful like this. Unfortunately, there's people like me who have no problem bringing this up and putting it out on the internet. The mainstream media isn't going to talk about this. CBC, CTV, are they making reports about this? That's why all of you are watching people like me on YouTube here, to get the real news, the honest news of what's going on here.
Michelle.
Thanks.
Sorry. Madam Chair, I'd like to speak on the motion.
Okay, I'll add your name to the speaking list.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So what people are watching at home right now is we have a debate on the floor. We've called an emergency meeting because Stats Canada released shocking statistics. We've seen an increase 75% in sexual assault since 2015. Total sexual violations against children up 119%.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Point of order, Madam Chair. Ms. Gazan had her hand up and wanted to speak first. She indicated early that she wants to speak, and the chance is not given to her. Can she speak first?
I've currently given the chair to MP Ferrari. I've noticed that MP Gazan has her hand up, and I acknowledge that she'll have the floor next.
Point
Thank
of
you.
order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Certainly.
I had my hand up before. You know, in the history of this committee, we have done things in fairness. I am devastated by the way this meeting is being handled today. I would like us to be collegial. I had my hand up. I would like that to be recognized. This is a very, very harmful meeting for everybody, and I would like my hand to be recognized. With all due respect, Chair.
In absolute fairness, I did not see your hand. I now have, once it was acknowledged, and I'll have you on the floor as soon as Michelle is finished.
Madam Chair, I had my hand up. It was, with all due fairness, point of order. I had my hand up. I was told that I had to wait till after the vote. It was acknowledged by you. Everybody saw it in the committee. I would like my turn to speak now, Madam Chair, with all due respect. Thank you.
I did acknowledge your hand during the vote with reference to this debate. I did acknowledge Michelle first, and you will speak second. Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Chair. We all saw that Ms. Gazan has hand up even before vote, after vote, and everyone saw that. And please be fair with it.
Okay, I got to jump in here for a second. So this woman here, I was just trying to let this play out. Full screen here for you guys, but Sonia Sidhu, this is a Liberal. The other lady, Leah, is NDP. They're going back and forth about whose turn it is to talk. This is embarrassing. These women have been victimized, and these poopy pants Liberal and NDP losers are making a mockery of the situation. This is just disgraceful. This makes me angry watching this. I'm just going to bite my lip, and I'm going to put it back to full screen and let you guys watch the rest of this here.
Indeed, I am being fair. I saw and acknowledged her hand up during the vote. I needn't explain myself. What will happen is Michelle will speak, and then as soon as she is finished, then Madame Gazan will happily have the floor.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. as somebody who has spent their life fighting around issues around violence against women, I find this deeply troubling that my hand was up. It is not being acknowledged.
At that point, once the debate started, I did pass the floor to MP Ferrari. As soon as she is done, the floor will return to you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
The same point of order?
Point of order.
Leah?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would just like to say that I'm in the room, and I saw Leah's hand go up before Michelle indicated that she wanted to speak.
With all due respect, had we just continued on, we would have had both of you speak by now with the time we've allowed for.
I would like to challenge your ruling. I see you've made your ruling, but I disagree with it. So I'd like to challenge the ruling of the chair at this time.
What you're about to see is them to vote, shut down the committee to stop talking about this issue.
Okay, Ms. Atwin?
In favor.
All right, Ms. Ferrari?
No.
Ms. Roberts?
Absolutely not.
Ms. Gray?
No.
Madame Larouche?
Contre.
Ms. Kazan?
Yes.
6 yeas, 4 nays.
It is about a constant attack on women.
All of my years
by the
in advocating
Conservative
for
Party.
women. We are leaving. We will not ever have.
Madam Chair, or sorry, your mic is not on, and no one. And at this point, we don't have space to acknowledge in this space right now.
I want to acknowledge the witnesses, Madam Speaker, because I'm the one.
The witnesses are no longer in the room.
Okay.
Can I adjourn the meeting?
This is about collegiality. This is about using
Point of order, Madam
for
Chair.
a political agenda.
The witnesses have left status of women. And if we are collegial, I just think if we are focusing on women here, to resume here, they've actually turned their back and they've left. They were here to represent all women, which is what this committee is for. And the staggering stats that were recently released, and that is what's happened. And we need to get back to this. We need to get back to this testimony if we're going to help women in this country.
So on the same topic here, we've got this posted by Anna Roberts, MP. This is Conservative.
Hi, Anna Roberts, Member of Parliament for King Vaughan. I'm here. We just left the Committee of Status of Women. I'm here with two brave women, Kate Alexander and Megan Walker. They came all the way. Kate, you came from California. Megan, you came from London to testify so that we can come up with some solutions to help violence against women, up 75%. We need to stop this. What happened? The NDP and Liberal coalition got together and stopped the meeting. They didn't want to talk about violence against women. And I want you to hear from these two brave women what happened in that room.
It's absolutely important. It actually explains a lot. We spent 20 minutes trying to figure out whose hand up was first. Today is the 3-year anniversary of my attempted murder that happened in Toronto. And we have been further silenced by political bullshit and bipartisan rules that absolutely should not have a place around this issue. This is for the survivors. I am so sorry that this is who's in charge. And I'm still here with you. We're still here with you, and we will see the fight.
There is, I've never experienced this level of sabotage in all of my years of coming forward to testify. The goal of the NDP and the Liberals is to silence women. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they will continue to do. And in the meantime, women are being killed. Women are dying by femicide every other day, and they need help. And they need us to stand up for them. And no matter what they said in there, I will not be silenced. I will continue to speak up as loudly as I can.
Justin Trudeau's Canada, everyone. Women are not safe in Canada, not anymore. Shame on the Liberals and NDP. They need to be removed from power now. There's no time to wait another 15 months.
The government is standing by and allowing it to happen. And honestly, if their policies were working, wouldn't we be seeing a decrease?
Or wouldn't you also be open to evaluate? You know what? Maybe I need to sit like open to that conversation. What can we do if there is a collaboration effort?
There is no, the NDP and the Liberals today showed they are not open to discussion.
They show that they don't care. They proved our point.
The issue is closed.
They proved our point.
Yeah.
And this explains why Trudeau's the only politician, and Trudeau and Ford are the only two politicians who won't answer my emails. Everyone else respectfully has, which is why I'm here today. And it's been 3 years since my attempted murder. Exactly, July 31st. My abuser is free in Leaside in Toronto without a single consequence, despite what he did, and he will kill someone next time. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky that my body was able to withstand that. And what an embarrassment for this government to shun us in person and make this about parties and make this about utter childish nonsense. But it explains exactly why my attempted murder was stayed. It makes a lot of sense.
And I think what you've said is so important because we need to come forward and speak out. We don't want to be silenced. And what they've done today is silence us. They've embarrassed the country. I've never experienced this. I am embarrassed to live in this country.
So, Kate, your attacker, did he get out on bail or he just never got charged?
He was out on $500 bail. He was charged 8 times. You saw the photos. The Canadian SWAT team, the tactical team was there that night. He went on the run for 3 days, and he finally turned himself in, and he knew exactly which lawyer to call, exactly what to do, and he was subsequently charged 8 times, 3 in the federal, 5 in the provincial, and each time they lied. The Crown attorneys lied to me and said, oh, we're going to fight this. There's no way a case like this. You know, your blood is all over the walls. You know, there's video of it. I have photos of everything, and they stayed it because the Canadian government doesn't have time to deal with something like that. And that's verbatim what they said.
And let's remember, women like Kate are coming forward. And she's sending a message to all women you can speak out to. Right. And she is a Canadian hero for doing that because I know how hard it is to do that.
Yeah.
And I respect and appreciate you.
I'm not here for that.
I know, but you know what?
I'm sick of this.
But it is the truth. And I really appreciate the message you sent to women and girls across this country.
And the fact that you spoke about all women, not just one particular individual or core. You spoke about women in all areas.
The whole situation is insane. They gathered there for this meeting and the Liberals just shut them down and had them leaving the room in tears. Our country is just beyond broken at this point. I don't even know what to say. It's just insane. And that guy did all that stuff and he's out on $500 bail. It's like, that's where we wrap up this episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about this whole situation. Michelle Ferreri, these women she brought in to testify, the Liberals shutting it down. It's all quite disgusting and it's terrible. I mean, this is a new low for the Liberals. They've stooped to a new low. Like, it's clear to us now they have no low that they won't go to. They'll just keep stooping lower and lower. We need to get these fools out of power ASAP. So thanks for watching the video here. Be sure to subscribe. Big thanks to all the people donating and channel members, all that good stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.